going on, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. Today we're going to be doing pretty much the same thing as always. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. I'm a little crunched for time today. But we're going to be doing our reviews of our picks yesterday, and then we're going to be doing some of our best bets for today. Yesterday was a little rough. That is now well, no, it's not that. It's actually that. We put in 2 units yesterday and we got back 1, which wasn't really anything to brag about. We had Buffalo winning, they lost by 2. We had Toledo winning, they lost by 3. We had Illinois State winning, they lost by like 13 at home. DePaul, they covered the spread, but they did lose. UIC got blown out pretty handedly, same with Evansville. Lindenwood lost at home. SMU lost at home to North Carolina State. And Nevada lost on the road, I believe, in overtime to Boise State. And then UNLV lost by 2 to Fresno State. Duke did not cover their spread, unfortunately. It was like, I believe it was 69 to 87 or something like that. They barely didn't cover, so Virginia did cover their spread, however, and Grand Canyon did not. So not a great day for college basketball picks. The Knicks covered and the Thunder covered. Those were like the 2 big ones, but however, the Bulls failed to beat the Hawks at home, which completely screws me over because, you know, I had the Bulls. I thought they were going to win that handedly. They lost by like 20. So, interesting. Moving on to NHL, we had a great day. This was where we made some of our money back. We had the Hurricanes, the Lightning, and the Flyers to win. And they did. We took them to win by 2 each as well. That did not happen, but they at least all won the 3 that we singled out, which you will see here. The Oilers were the only team that lost. They lost to the Maple Leafs at home. They play the Flames tonight. I will be fading the Oilers. So our recap, we had a 20-pick parlay just combined of randomness, what I thought was like the 20 safest things. So a bunch of alternate spreads, a bunch of safe money lines. We had 17 out of 20 correct. Our 3-pick NHL parlay was correct. Hurricanes, Flyers, Lightning, as I talked about. We had another 3-pick that was incorrect with the spreads. But we had a 7-pick NHL parlay that was 6 out of 7 correct. Haha, funny number. We had the 9-pick NBA parlay, 7 out of 9 correct, sorry. And then the 20-pick, again, another 20-pick, but just for college basketball, 17 out of 20. Both of those kind of hurt. And then a 3-pick college basketball parlay. I think that one stings the most because that was the one I was most confident on. And Grand Canyon and Duke both didn't cover the spread, so I just look like a silly goose. Moving on into today, I really like this Louisville team at home today. They are favored by like 15. I've moved it down to 9.5, 10. They consistently win by 10 at home, and Notre Dame consistently loses by 10 on the road, except to Cal. But we'll just call that an outlier. UCF at Houston. Houston is also favored by like 15. UCF is not very good on the road, especially against teams that have a number in front of their name. So I'm going to go with Houston. Houston is very good against teams that do not have a number in front of their name. I think both of these spreads are a little risky because UCF is a good team, and I could very well see that being a close game. And then Notre Dame and Louisville, I mean, you just never know. Louisville could lose by or win by 9, and then whatever. But Michigan State at Minnesota, I like Michigan State to win here. Minnesota's not good. They just lost to Penn State. Michigan State, coming off that loss to Michigan, I think they got a chip on their shoulder. I like them to get it done. Texas A&M on the road against Alabama. I like Texas A&M to cover the spread here. 7.5 points is extremely generous. I figured it'd be like +4. But I guess not. So I will take that. I would even take their money line, honestly, if I was feeling frisky. We'll see how I kind of combine them later. But Army at Colgate. I like Colgate by 10. This one I kind of would categorize with the Louisville and the Houston. Like, I could very well see Army not winning, but keeping it closer than that. Colgate is, I think, a 12-point favorite. I moved it down a little bit. Butler at Providence. Butler barely beat Providence at home in overtime, so I'm going to go with Providence to win on the road, or win at home. Providence played pretty good against UConn at home after playing pretty good against them on the road, so I think the same thing's kind of going to carry over here. Butler is no UConn, so I think Providence will get that done. Tulsa at Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic is coming off that home loss to ECU while they were pretty big favorites, and Tulsa is the best team in the American right now. So I'm going to go Tulsa. They're favored by 2. I think that's a little generous, so I'll just take their money line. UTSA on the road. I put 2 ats in there. Honestly, I'm going to keep it. Against South Florida, UTSA is the worst team in the American. I like South Florida to cover by 20. They're favored by like 25.5. I moved it down to 20 just because UTSA consistently loses by like 40 or whatever. And I thought the same thing about Duke yesterday. I even moved the Duke one down to 20 and that one didn't hit. So I'm going to move this one down to 20 just to be safe. There's a few more. Colorado at Baylor. So if this was Colorado at home, I probably wouldn't include this game in this pick today. But since Baylor's at home, I'm going to go with Baylor. I thought about putting the spread, but I just like Baylor to win. South Dakota on the road against Kansas City. Kansas City has 3 wins on the year, 4 wins on the year. They just got blown out by St. Thomas by like 30. Give me South Dakota State on the road. They're only favored by 3. This is one of those. This is very similar to that Tulsa game. Give me South Dakota. Northwestern at Illinois. I like Illinois to win by 10. I did not finish writing it, but I like them to win by 10. They're favored by probably like 12 or 15, I would say. Northwestern's not a bad team, and I'm not sure if Illinois is still struggling with some of those missing players. However, with those missing players, they went to Nebraska and beat them pretty handedly. So give me Illinois. And they also beat Northwestern by 10 on the road, if I didn't say that already. Gonzaga at Portland. This is a little tricky because Gonzaga should win big here. They're favored by like 25, 24. On all this is according to DraftKings, by the way. But I'm putting the Gonzaga spread because I would never fade my darling like that. But I'm not very confident in it. I know Portland's not a great team, but Gonzaga went to, maybe it was San Diego and only won by 6. So you never know. San Diego at St. Mary's, however, I do like St. Mary's big here. I like St. Mary's by 20 better than I like Gonzaga by 20. I also like Pepperdine at Seattle. Seattle by 10. I like that more than the Gonzaga one too. I would say of the few picks on here that are sort of skeptical, I would say this one is skeptical. This one is skeptical. And then these two are skeptical. Also, leave your thoughts on the music in the comments. What I might do here, just to give you my kind of thoughts on college basketball before we move on, I might group those 3 pink ones together. And then I think I will group the Michigan State money line, the Tulsa money line, the the South Dakota money line, and then maybe just like the Gonzaga money line or like something like that, along with the Texas A&M spread, and then maybe I'll change the spread to like 10.5. So I'll do a little 5-pick parlay with those, and then I'll probably do Butler, Providence at home, UTSA, fading UTSA, Colorado at Baylor, Northwestern Illinois, and then these two. Maybe I'll leave one of them out, but I'm pretty confident in all. Maybe I'll leave the Baylor one out. Maybe I'll put the Baylor one in with like the Michigan State, the road team one, just because I'm not totally confident in it. Moving on to the NBA. We have the Nuggets at the Knicks. Both of these teams played yesterday. The Nuggets lost to the Pistons, and the Knicks blew out the Washington Wizards. I like the Knicks to win here. Nikola Jokic can only miss one more game before he is no longer eligible for postseason rewards, or regular season rewards, whatever you want to call it. So, I don't know, on one-day rest, if you lost to the Pistons when I thought you were going to win, I think you're going to lose to the Knicks when I think you're going to lose. Celtics at Rockets. Celtics lost to the Rockets at home by like 27, I believe it was. So I like the Rockets to cover the spread. It's 5.5. I might just take the 5.5, but I moved it to 4.5 just to be, I like it to go in terms of like 5, 10, 15, 20 sometimes, or like 7 by like increments of 7, or by increments of 3 sometimes if we're doing like football. Thunder at Spurs. Thunder played yesterday. They destroyed the Magic as we predicted. However, the Spurs have their number, at least in their home building. I like the Spurs to cover here or to win as underdogs. And then the Grizzlies on the road against the Kings. I like the Kings to lose here. The Grizzlies destroyed them earlier in the season. This is kind of similar to like the Rockets and Celtics game. But all of these picks right here I feel pretty confident on. If you haven't noticed, there are more NBA games today than I have put down. I'm not going to even give you a prediction for the Pelicans, 13-win Pelicans at the Milwaukee Bucks, who have no Giannis and like anyone, and the culture there is terrible right now. So there's no point in even filling my brain space with the idea of stressing over picking that. Finally, the NHL, we have the Sharks at the Avalanche. I like the Avalanche to destroy them. They won by 6, I believe, earlier this season. But then again, they did just lose to the Red Wings after beating them by 5, so anything is possible, clearly. The Red Wings at the Mammoth. I like the Mammoth here big. I could see myself switching it to the money line because I consistently get screwed over by stuff like that. The Blues at the Stars. The Blues and Stars, every game has come down to a score of 2-3 or 3-4. So just take the team that has the plus. The Oilers at the Flames. The Oilers beat the Flames at home, but then lose to them on the road. The Oilers just played yesterday and lost. I like the Flames to win here. And then, but I'm going to take their spread to be safe. And then the Canucks at the Knights. I like the Knights to cover the spread here. The Canucks are not good. I believe they already lost to the Knights. If not, they're on a bad streak right now, and the Knights just need a win before the break, I think. So I like the Knights here. If you really wanted this to be safe, I would either take Avalanche moneyline or the over. And then the Mammoth moneyline, Blues and Flames spread, and then the Knights just to win. That's probably the safest if you were to include all of them. Safest here would just be all the money lines, or I guess they're offered like a 2-point, 1.5 point spread, 1.5 point spread. I don't think that's really worth it ever. And then, yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully, we actually did have a successful bet, like a correct 3-pick yesterday, but that's not really what we're looking for here. We're looking for like profit. So I think today's going to be that day. I'm not going to go over all the combinations of stuff I'm going to do just because I think that's going to take too long and I have to get going soon. So thank you for watching. Hopefully some of these picks are better than yesterday. I kind of like this format I've been doing with all the different colors and stuff. It was fun to make. If I had to pick one from each game or each sport that I thought was the ultimate lock, I believe So what I've noticed from my picks is usually there's a lot of green to start off, and then it gets red towards the end of the day. So I'm going to use that, and it's been going on pretty consistently throughout my picks. So I might think like the Louisville spread or like the Alabama. I really like Texas A&M. Honestly, I like all of these picks. I think all of them are good, except the pink ones are the ones I'm most skeptical about. Not really skeptical about any of these, except for this one. because, dude, it's so annoying I can't see my mouse. Like, I don't know who thought this was a good idea at Windows or whatever, but the fact that I can't like see my mouse half the time on this Google Doc is really annoying. This one I would say I'm most skeptical about. And then maybe this one. But honestly, probably this one, just because the Knights have been losing. They're on a pretty big losing streak, and I'm kind of hoping for them to turn it around. So yeah, thank you for watching again. Let me know anything down in the comments. Please, if you like the video, please leave a like. If you like what you're seeing from me, or you just like watching me lose money for now, subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know anything. If there's some kind of content you want to see, some kind of video you want to see, maybe how I could rework some kind of playoff format or whatever. I'm gonna do a Super Bowl prediction video later this week. Yeah, it should be good. So, thank you for watching for the last time, and I will see you in the next one.